April Kwan. I'm a yoga teacher and sound healer. Occasionally, I also still do voiceovers for my radio background before. I'm very interested in spirituality, so I read a lot about that and also self improvement. I'm very into plants right now. I guess everyone is because of the lockdown. I mean, gardening is proven to be very grounding, so that's really good. Okay, so I wasn't just doing radio. I started off doing a lot of things. I'm that kind of person who likes to dig my hands into everything, which to the detriment of my parents did not work for them because, they just wanted me to climb the corporate ladder and stay put in a company, which is very traditional. And I was always in the music industry. And then I ended up working for Juice. It was a clubbing magazine at the time. Your job was basically to cover events in clubs. And you would party at night and then you have to go to work in the morning. And that was actually the start of the big time stress that I had because publishing is just no work-life balance, deadlines and crunch time. And in your 30s, you usually just chase your career. You don't really think about, oh, I need to get some me time. And I had my first nervous breakdown in Juice actually, probably because I was just dealing with a lot and I didn't let myself feel. So then my body was like, hey, you got to slow down. That was kind of the tipping point that made me realize like, hey, I can't do this anymore. So then I just decided I needed to change. And that's when I tried yoga. I was very lucky to have teachers who also promoted the spiritual side of yoga. It made me really intrigued. And that was the start of my exposure to spirituality. I felt like I really wanted to stick to it and it really made me feel good. Not right now, actually. I really love what I'm doing. Being humans, I think we should do what we love. I know it's hard sometimes to do it because there's the money issue. Maybe you're not earning it a lot, especially if you're starting out. There's the fear of not making it. I always believe, and this is proven, that when you do what you love, you're so passionate about it, you just want to make it work, it will happen for you. And also in yoga, we believe that when you're not doing something that is not aligned with your purpose or that are not aligned with who you are and your passions, you are actually straying away from who you really are as a person. And when you do that, you are actually making yourself become more imbalanced inside. Especially these days, a lot of us are not doing what we love because we need the money, right? If you want to be happy, especially, and fulfilled and content, you have to do what you love and really go after your passions and believe in yourself. Because when you really love what you do and you believe that this is who you are, there's integrity and authenticity with that, it will be able to find success and you will be able to find happiness. It's very all-encompassing. Like when you find your happiness, then you find your peace and you find contentment. Everything just falls into place when you honor yourself in your work and you honor who you are as a person and you go for and chase after your dream. Sound healing is a form of energy healing. I'm very passionate about energy healing. And this is coming from someone like me who grew up very logical, always up in my head. All of us go through the same thing. We don't see the mind body connection. And when we get sick, but we don't really sit down and think, what's going on with me? What am I going through that is making my body shut down? Doesn't work that way. It's always like, oh, I'm just sick. Okay, I'll take meds. But it's very much that whatever you are thinking or that's causing you stress is causing you to have emotional and physical stress as well. When we think a negative thought or when we criticize ourselves or we are stressed, it is energy, and that energy will start to affect us emotionally and physically. And I'm so passionate about educating people on this because I was also ignorant about this until I started learning and until I took my teacher training course and then I understood, wow, this is connected. With energy healing, we are bodies of energy because we are, as humans, we're made of atoms of energy. We're atoms of energy vibrating constantly. And so is everything, right? A chair is atoms of energy vibrating. Everything is energy. So we are surrounded by energy and we have the universe and the planet that's full of energy. So how is it that we are not affected by energy every day in our lives? We are affected by our own energy, We're affected by the energy around us. We're affected by energy from other humans. We're affected by other animals, the environment, especially now, these times where we are facing a lot of fear, negativity, and cynicism about the situation in our political climate. There's a lot of fear energy going around, and that is definitely collectively affecting all of us. And we have to understand that it does affect us. So sometimes when we feel really down, it's because a lot of us are feeling down. So the only way to change that is to try to change how we feel, and then try to help others feel the same way so that we can uplift this energy. We have 114 energy centers in our bodies where energy flows. So it's, when in Chinese believe the qi, we have qi in our bodies. In the Indian philosophy, it's called prana. So it's our life force that's flowing around us, right? And the energy centers where the energy passes through can get imbalanced from stress. So when we are stressed, we cause the imbalance in us, stress in our thoughts, in our emotions, in our physical bodies. And then that's when diseases happen, when we start getting sick, ailments, even major diseases like cancer, a lot of the time starting from just a thought, from the stress that we go through. Not that it's not okay to get mad or get upset because, I don't want that energy. No, because you don't want to avoid being human. Go through all the human emotions. I had an episode, that's fine, as long as now I understand, okay, why did I do that? That's fine. Okay, I was angry. Okay. And then when you actually take time to observe and understand yourself, that's when you start to heal. Because the worst thing you could do is just to shut it off. Either, let's say, if you're really pissed, just not address the anger. Your anger is buried deep inside you, and anger actually becomes a disease or an ailment. And we store anger in our liver. So sometimes people who have liver problems, a lot of the times it's because they have deep-seated anger issues that they're not addressing. So let's say if I have heart chakra problems, and heart chakra is usually about love and joy and giving love and receiving love. So if you're very hurt, or if you have grief from losing someone and you closed off, then your heart chakra is imbalanced. And then you will have heart issues. For women, maybe breast cancer. So it is very important not just to take care of ourselves, but also to understand that our energy needs to be healed as well. And a form of doing that is energy healing. And for me, I love sound healing. When I took my yoga teacher training course in India, I purposely chose a school that also offered a sound healing course so that I could learn it together. And I went to Dharamsala, which was the little Tibet, where the Dalai Lama is and the Tibetans in exile were. And I'm very drawn to Buddhism, so especially Tibetan Buddhism. So I purposely chose that place, and I went there, and it was so magical. Obviously, Buddhist monks chanting when you walk down the street, and it was just very spiritual. It's a very spiritual place. And so I spent a month there, and after the yoga course, I did the sound healing course. And then I learned only with one bowl. And then I came back and started healing people with just one bowl. And then I decided, you know what, I want to really maximize my time in the sense that I want to be able to offer it to more people at one time. So I only started doing group healing recently, like 2 years ago. Yeah. I was very interested in the way the Tibetan singing bowls sounded. I got one bowl from India. And then when I went back to Mysore, I got more bowls from the teacher. And then when I came back, because I couldn't get more bowls, and I found it in Dowling Street, this really great place called Bodhi Book Center. It's a Tibetan Buddhist bookstore, and it also sells a lot of Tibetan Buddhism prayer stuff, prayer things they need. And they also sell bowls. These actually are from Nepal. This is from Bodhi Bookstore. This is the new one that I got, and it's a full moon bowl, meaning it was made during the full moon. So it carry more powerful energies. So this is my first bowl, and I still have a soft spot for this bowl. They call it a bronze bowl. So there are believed to be 7 metals used. zinc, aluminum. There's a bit of gold and silver, apparently. So yeah, it's very shiny, and I feel it's very much towards catered to my heart. So to pick a bowl actually is very intuitive. If you want
Okay.
to find a bowl for yourself, I rather you go physically to a store than buy online, unless you really can't online. But I really feel that you need to feel the bowl, you need to be able to look at it and like how it looks. And then, of course, when you play it, you should like how it sounds, and you should be drawn to it. Maybe I mean, like it's like a very natural attraction to the bowl. And
Wow.
and also different
Even
mallets.
okay.
I have a different one as well that will sound different. The other mallet that I use, I have a few mallets actually, and it just produces a different sound. It's more muted sound, but very heavy sound.
Oh wow.
This is a smaller bowl, and it's the same. So there's a bit.
Wow.
And you can actually rub the bowls. So this is how we rub the bowls, and then it has this sound. The different bowls will sound different. And then a lot of the times when I'm rubbing the bowls, that's when people fall into a very deep state of meditation, because the rubbing is just it's just I guess more intense than knocking. Yeah. So when you rub, it kind of it's a very hypnotic
Hypnotic.
sound that gets you into that state of calm. So a lot of times when I start, as soon as I start rubbing, everyone just falls into a deep state of relaxation.
Oh.
So with the full moon bowl, it's like I said, it has more layers. It's very heavy, and the sound is you can feel like the sound spirals. So we have 100, I was saying 114 chakras around us, but the seven main ones that affect us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically is the seven that go up our spine. The seven chakras are imbalanced. That's when we get emotional imbalance, mental imbalance, physical imbalance. It really affects us across the board. So if we can't really focus on all 114, at least focus on the health and the balance of the seven that go up here. And they each have different qualities. So, for example, the first chakra is along our tailbone. It's our ability to feel grounded and present in our body. And our first chakra is actually very important for us, because if our first chakra is in balance, it will obviously affect the rest because the energy flows up.
Right.
And the last chakra is the seventh on the crown of the head. This is obviously where spirituality lies. Once you have all the different chakras balanced, you're very in tune and in touch with yourself and the universe and everyone around you. The sound and the vibrations of the bowls, they ground us, and they also bring us to a state where we're just in complete relaxation. And when you're in relaxation mode, that's when your body heals. So when we're in stress mode, we are in fight or flight response, right?
Yeah.
So our nervous system is always just being activated and just, always alert. So we want to change that and become more of the rest and recover mode. And that only happens when we're at rest. And sometimes when we're at rest, we're still stressed. You're in that relaxation mode, and it's called the alpha state. So right now in conscious mode, we're in beta state. Then when we're in kind of like a restful mode, where let's say we're doing an activity that's very chilled out, like we're on the beach and we're just looking at the waves, that's a very alpha state. And that's when your body is already healing because you're relaxed. The bowls actually bring us down to two more levels. Theta state. A theta state is a state where you're in a light trance, and people get that through meditation as well. When you go into that state of just you're awake, but you're kind of straddling between awake and sleep. You're just in the zone, You're just very tuned out and very tuned into yourself. Theta state is that state where you are calm and your nervous system really starts to heal and calm down. And then the deep sleep, and I think that's where the lucid dreaming is, and out of body experiences, if you believe in that, and traveling to other dimensions, parallel universes. That's delta state. That's when you're really knocked out, and that's also when the dream happens. So these three levels are what the bowls do. Some people go really deep. Some people they just straddle between. Oh, I'm still awake, but I feel very relaxed. It doesn't matter what state you're in, you're still being healed. I think find what works for you. A lot of people are scared of meditation because they think, oh, it's just to empty your mind and just I can't do that. I can't sit still. I can't think, not think. That goal is actually for people who are already up there, where they've done their meditation, daily meditation practice, or if let's say you're a monk, where you already have that self mastery. But for people like us who are just trying to get by, it's really not about that. It's more about just, like I said, checking in with yourself. Even just checking in with how you're breathing. Breathing deeply is very calming for the nervous system, very good for the organs, for the cells, everything, you know? So just taking time to just breathe and noticing how you're breathing, noticing the air going through and coming out, and also noticing what you're thinking about. And the important thing about that is it's okay to think and it's okay to be critical about your thoughts, because a lot of people, including me, when you sit still, sometimes you're just like, oh, you start beating yourself up about your day or about how you handle the situation or what you said to a friend or family member. And that's fine, because that's part of the journaling process in your mind. You are analyzing, and that's totally okay. As you do this more often, just pause and close your eyes and check in with yourself. And then you have that inner critic to understand that it's okay, because like I said, you're only human, and this is the part of the human experience. We go through this. Everyone goes through this. We have our insecurities. We have our inner critic, right? We have maybe our parents at the back of our heads telling us what to do. That's our programming, and there's nothing we can do about it. But the more we do it, it's the diligence and the practice. That's why we call it a practice. Meditation practice, yoga practice. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And then you'll find one day that you can just sit down and you don't have those thoughts anymore. In fact, the critical thoughts are lessened or have gone. We need to approach it from actually an observer point of view, where you're just observing your thoughts coming in. And then you are beating yourself up and it's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. That's really bad. But just observing it and just letting and releasing the thought. After a while, you will find that you can just observe your thoughts and not get attached to the thoughts. And that's basically the secret. Do not get attached to your thoughts, and do not think that your thoughts define you, because your thoughts can just come out of nowhere from a movie you watched or influence from a story you read about a serial killer, for example. Then suddenly you have this thought, oh, I could kill someone. It's just a thought. To observe and release and have compassion and just say, okay, I thought that, but it's nothing. It's not me. One day you will reach that point where that ego thought comes in. You're like, nah, I'm not going to really give you time anymore. Okay, thanks, bye. The first step is just to observe. The analogy is your thoughts are like clouds, where you just see them pass and then they leave. And you're just like, okay, without any reaction, without any judgment of yourself, just know that, okay, that was a thought and that's fine. I'm going to let it go now. Right idea, I started to want to rescue some strays out just in my neighborhood, and it became this huge mission. I'm like a fish out of water, and then I'm getting advice from other experts, but yet I'm alone. I felt so overwhelmed, even though I had lots of support from the neighborhood, the community. They were donating, it was really kind. They were donating food and money. They were helping me to trap the cats, but essentially I was doing it alone. And then suddenly I have four cats here, and I was like in over my head, and I started questioning myself, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you going out and seeking drama? And then also finding out that me being an idealist and just wanting to save every cat and thinking that every cat can have a home breaks my heart. The intention for me to save cats was because to get them out of the streets so I can make the community happy and I can make the cats happy. But we don't live in an ideal world where that happens. So sometimes you just have to do what you need to do. I was advised with a pregnant stray to new to her immediately and abort her baby. So there was a lot of conflict within me, and just what was the right thing to do, and I wasn't sure, and yeah, and also it was very stressful to take care of the cats because some of them were not domestic, right? They were stressed out being kept indoors because they've been outside their whole lives, And I felt really bad, and I think because I'm very sensitive, and also, as with the energy of cats, when they're stressed, you will get affected and you will get stressed, and then vice versa. If I'm
Yeah.
stressed, they will feel the stress and they will
Yeah.
get the stress. Will get stressful. Yeah, that's why we should surround ourselves with high vibration people because low vibration people will affect us unless we have a protection, a very good energy protection around us. And also, as a healer and a yoga teacher, my energy has to be protected because I'm giving out energy, and teaching is a form of giving out energy. And then the students that come, sometimes they've been having a bad day, and then you might absorb that energy without them even knowing it, or not to like they had any bad intentions or anything. That's why it's very important as a yoga teacher to have your own practice, have your not just your yoga practice to keep your energy protected, but also your own spiritual practice, meditation, healing, whatever you need to do to get yourself in a good place and get protected. And also with sound healing, especially, it's all about energy. You're healing others, but you could also take on their energy, or vice versa. They could take on my energy. So I have to make sure that I'm not in that place where they can absorb my low energies. I need to be in a good place in order to be an effective healer. So that's why for me now, very important that I take care of myself. No matter how selfish it might seem to others, especially those who don't understand boundaries, especially with caregivers who face a lot of stress in this time. If you don't fill your cup, how are you going to take care of the person if you are not good with yourself?
Yeah.
And I mean, there are times when I do feel that way when I come into a class where I'm just like, oh, I'm so not feeling it. I don't want to do this. And that's normal. It's always important to remember that that is okay. We're just humans. We will have our ups and downs. But as soon as I come in and I start teaching, it really goes away because it's always the anticipation of the class that you're like, oh, I'm so lazy, I don't want to do this, or I'm not feeling it today, I had a bad day. You start teaching, and then because you're so present, and then all you want is to teach and help your students be okay with their bodies and okay with their emotional states. And then you just switch the attention to them and helping them. Obviously, it will just make you feel better. So usually after the first few stretches, I feel different already. So the poses balance your chakras and also helps to release stuck energy. So if you have pain, let's say pain here in your shoulder, it's because there's stuck energy here. So the bowls and yoga poses actually start to get the energy flowing so that it releases. The same thing is done with acupuncture. Acupuncture releases the energy. A lot of times I do spot healing. So let's say if I have back pain, I'll just like get a bowl and put it on my back. So if let's say someone has knee pain, I'll just put the bowl on the knee. And most of the time it's just stuck energy. I had one friend, she had knee problems, and I just put the bowl for like 15 minutes just on her knees, and then she said, oh my god, the pain is gone. So I'm really speaking from experience, and sometimes it's so unbelievable what the bowls can do. I am totally surprised at what they do. When I took one cat to the vet, I remember feeling really drained and stressed out about it, and stressed out about the whole process of this rescue, and questioning myself and wondering whether it was the right thing to do, and what did I get myself into, and all that. So when I went to the vet, I remember coming out of my car and bringing the carrier out. I saw a white feather. And I don't know if some people believe this, but I do. When I will come across feathers, I always feel like it's a reminder. They say usually it's your angels are watching, or there's a divine presence, or maybe your ancestors are watching, protecting you, or telling you that it's okay, telling you that you're on the right path. So white is basically love and peace and assurance that you're being protected. So when I saw that, it's kind of like a reminder that hey, it's gonna be okay. You're doing your best, and you're doing what you need to do, and this is the right way. Don't question yourself and all that. And I felt really, really happy, and that it came at such a right time because I was just so overwhelmed at that time. I remember being really stressed, and then I saw the feather, and that was the signal to just take a moment and like, okay, like just go with the flow and trust, right? A lot of times when we are in fear mode, we question too much and we don't trust. And I have to always remind myself to, okay, whatever it is, this is a learning process, whether it was whatever I did, there's no wrong or right. It's what I needed to do to grow, to evolve as a person, and to learn. Because every bad experience that we have, we should not regret. I don't believe in regrets anymore. I used to. Now it's like everything happens for a reason. Whatever you've come to in your life, no matter how hard, it is a test. It is to help you grow. And the important thing is to see the silver lining and to see how you have grown as a person and take it as a reason to evolve rather than regress. And as long as you take that as a lesson and that you'll grow to a better person, then you're going to be all right. And so that was the first. And then after a few days, I took another cat, and I was still in that zone where I was like, okay, oh gosh, this is so stressful. And then I remember walking along the walkway, bringing the cat in, and then walking back the same way, and then I found a black feather. This has never happened to me. I don't really find feathers very often. But this was like in the span of like a week, I think. And I remember walking that pathway and not seeing a feather, but then walking back the same way, and then the feather was there. And the feathers were so perfect. They were like pristine and just like untouched. It's like, oh my gosh, and I just took it. And then the black feather is more of like protection against negative energy. It was like, this is crazy. I have two feathers, and I brought it home, and then my cat started playing with them. But yeah, it really made me feel at peace and really, really grateful for that I feel very watched over, very, very guided, very protected.
That's such a lovely story, honestly, because it is the little things that will bring you joy. Because even now, asking you this question, the first thought that you had was just, this simple memory. Yeah, it's very beautiful. Thanks for sharing that.
Welcome.
It's very
Yeah,
nice
it's
to
just
listen.
really finding the little things that make you happy, and I think that's the only way we can survive and cope in this climate. Just to
Yeah.
find the little joys and gratitude. It's very good to remind ourselves that I am okay. Just being grateful for having a home, for being able to put food in front of us, having loved ones, having a family, no matter how bad it is, just thinking about the silver lining. It's hard sometimes when we take it for granted, but to remind ourselves that, okay, I am going to be okay, and just trusting, very important to trust the process of life and just go with the flow, because the more you resist it, the more you get stuck. The more you get stuck, the more you get stuck in yourselves and your energy, and that's when you start getting ailments. So going with the flow is very important, and it's one quality of the chakra, the second chakra that we have in the lower abdomen, the sacral chakra. To go with the flow is very important. So if we don't go with the flow, then that's when we get stuck.
Thank you so much, April. Very grateful for having this chat with you. I feel like it was a very positive experience. Thank you so much, April.
Thank you, thank you. You
Thank
too.
you.
And I wish all of Banana Fighters viewers the same. I hope you spend more time to take care of yourself, and I hope this is a message for you to really start to discover yourself and be okay with yourself and love yourself. I actually forgot to show you the bells and the tingsha, so maybe I'll close with
Yes.
that.
Yeah, close with that, please.
I'll close our interview with that. Yeah, okay. So this is the bell.